All right, let's go to the East End. What do we have in the first bracket there?
So the 1v8, we have Miami versus Atlanta, which I really struggled with because, I did pick that Miami would make it through from the East. So I can't go against them. But Atlanta is a scary team, especially when Trey's going off. Obviously, Clint Capella picked up a hyperextension in the play-in, which is a weird sort of like karmic deja vu
Is that like
because
Giannis?
that was Clint Capella fell into Giannis's knee in a similar fashion
And that's
and
what
ended up
Giannis had last year, wasn't it? Similar
correct.
situation. Yeah, cool.
So a hyperextension, obviously it puts pressure on the joints and might tear a ligament, might just bruise a ligament. It's really random, but they can look far worse than they actually are. So it's difficult to know his impact. Now, do they need Clint Capella to be successful? Well, defensively, probably he helps, but offensively, I'm sure they'll be fine. Look, Bogdan Bojanovic is, constant knee, lower leg injuries. But it's Trey Young, right? So it's Trey Young. Trey Young can go off as he went and in a half, not even in a game, in a half. So I feel like Atlanta should score at least 2 games against Miami, but Miami is just a stronger, gritted out team. They're not going to allow as many easy shots. And even if Trey does get 40, I don't see how everyone else gets more than 10. So I've went Miami in 6 for the first round.
Um, Look, so you reckon Capella will come back in this series or not?
Let me while you talk, I'll Google an
I guess
MRI.
I guess look, that he is an important part. It's not like Giannis coming back, obviously an MVP, Defensive Player of the Year coming back into the lineup. But yeah, look, I think Atlanta advanced through those play-in games was a win for them, but then they lost Capella, and I think that really sort of reduces their chances here to really knock off the first seed. I think on the other side, though, the Heat have question marks too. Can Butler stay healthy, through all these rounds ultimately and play at the level that he's capable of playing at? Will Tyler Hero turn up? I think he's obviously had a bit of a shaky playoff record in the past, and look, all fingers indications are pointing to that he should turn up and will turn up. But obviously, there's a question mark there. But like you pointed out in the last week's podcast, I think they've got a lot of depth as well, especially on the wings for Miami. So they throw bodies at Trey Young. He doesn't get hot like he sort of did in the last 2 games. I think Miami in 6 as well.
Well, also, like, no disrespect to the Cavs, but they really fell apart right at the end there and made teams look better. Like, Kyrie has the perfect half and Trey Young goes off in the second. So there's a couple of things going on with the Cavs.
They tried 18 minutes of playoff Rondo for like minus 15,
Yeah.
I think. Didn't work.
Another really hopefully fun series, the 2v7, the Celtics versus Brooklyn Nets. I'm tipping my hat to the Celtics taking this in 7. I think this will be a back and forth. I just don't think you can have KD and Kyrie and not get wins. But the Celtics should be the stronger team. They definitely have the better sense of home court advantage. If Rob Williams comes back, that really helps them. I do not care about the noise around Ben Simmons coming back. I do not understand how a player coming back for however long after a year off, who is an offensive liability, who might help you on defense, is actually going to swing a series in favor. And the Celtics are just on a bit of a surge. I think if we did finals predictions, at the start of the year, Celtics might have been a humorous pick. And then as the months progressed, it got worse. And then as the months progressed even beyond that, it even got stronger and stronger. And they're on quite a tear. And I don't see Brooklyn. I see Brooklyn being like a hurdle for them. And if you let's say Celtics win the championship, it'll be a really good DVD exclusive of like them overcoming Brooklyn and beating the best players and then probably going through Giannis, etc. So yeah, Celtics in 7.
I got this series going to 7 as well. 7 games for Brooklyn. I think this is a bad matchup for Celtics. It's any team that drew Brooklyn would have been a bad matchup. That's the reality. You got Kyrie and KD, both healthy, I guess, and playing more importantly, and motivated. I think especially Kyrie playing Boston, going back to Boston to have to play this series is one that he's really going to take personally. And I think that's not a good thing for Boston in that sort of sense. I think obviously Boston are also missing Robert Williams, the third, I think, is it? And he was a key part to obviously their advanced statistics, I think, after the All-Star break. And if he doesn't suit up or he comes back late in this series, that doesn't help their case too. So look, I think it's going to be close. Just like you said, could swing either way. But Brooklyn are rated way too low than they should have been if healthy. Okay. And right now you got to say they are healthy. Okay. So I've got this one, Brooklyn in 7.
I guess the reason why I counter it is that Brooklyn's defense is just atrocious. They let up leads. They can't really stop people. And Celtics do have 2 diverse wings to throw at it. And look, it should be a good series. I think that's what you want in the first round. You want to have good series. You don't want sweeps, which segues nicely to the 3v6 of Bucks versus Bulls. Obviously, the Bulls are a nice little feel-good story for a while there, and really struggled with health. And it will be an interesting offseason with Zach LaVine's contract, being up for grabs and seeing what they want to do with that. But yeah, I have pretty strong confidence that the Bucks should sweep the Bulls in 4. I don't see how the Bulls control Giannis at all. And to be honest with you, DeMar DeRozan being a mid-range assassin, Middleton and Drew Holiday are very capable of putting some defensive pressure on him. And then it's kind of hard to figure how anything else happens. And also the Bulls probably are one of the best teams. They can't beat anyone who has a good record. That's really it. They beat it's one of the unique cases where they beat every single team they were supposed to beat and couldn't beat anybody that was actually like mildly competitive.
Yeah, I saw that stat. I think they're saying like 1-14 or 1-15 against any of those top 4 teams in the East. Not a great stat. They're gonna miss Lonzo Ball, obviously. He was part of that hot start that they had. I think Zach LaVine's not fully healthy either. He missed a bit of time and then he's come back and really his game sort of dropped up a little bit there. So it's just been unfortunately a bit downhill since that hot start. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Giannis is the key here. Who's gonna stop him? They've got no real ideal matchup there to stop him and contain him. I've given them credit to at least pick up 1 game, so I've got the Bucks in 5.
I feel like knowing that the Bucks and Suns are probably your 2 finals contenders or 2 of the most logical ones, and the Bucks kind of understand how to get things done, and their next matchup would be Celtics or Brooklyn. So I think they'd want to wrap that series up pretty quick and make sure that they're ready to go against them. So the 4v5, which is Philly and Toronto, probably one of the more interesting storylines, right? Because is Harden going to choke? Is Embiid going to be able to get past the front line of Toronto or just the size? Who knew that Thibault wasn't vaccinated? There's a lot of interesting things that come out of it. There's a bit of a growing hipster pick that Toronto will upset Philly. Harden will crash and burn and it'll be that. I'm sorry, I'm just going to stick with Philly. I think Philly will take it in 6. I think that they'll probably win the home games that they need to, and they might be able to pick up, game 6 on the road. But you've got Joel Embiid playing MVP caliber basketball. I think he will figure it out. I really can't see how he doesn't. And I am sure that Harden can muster up a couple of decent games, not even good games. He doesn't have to score 45 points. He can score 20 points. He can score 25 and go along with whatever it is. I think that he can do that. And also Toronto as well. Like from a defensive mindset, Toronto is like a solid all-round team. But it's probably similar to the Spurs, right? They're a good team, but playoffs do become a little bit about the individual. And I just don't see Toronto scoring more than 1 or 2 games. For Van Fleet might have a big one, and that'll be one of the games. Siakam might have another. Maybe even Scotty Barnes has one. But I have faith that Philly will take it in 6.
This is a tough matchup to pick. I think there's some things there. Your notes are accurate, but you've gone in a very optimistic 76ers way, I think. You're saying Harden will do enough to obviously get him over the line here and be that second superstar next to Embiid in this series. I think I'm going to have to counter with his track record is not great. His track record is not great, and he's had a long track record. That's the thing. He's not like a first or second season player, okay? And to suggest that now he's got a different uniform and he's going to somehow show up and actually be impactful in the playoff, look, fingers crossed for 76ers fans, that's the case. I think there's a few keys here, and they play the role players. Both teams, so 76ers, I think the Maxey is a key. Okay, because he's obviously had a breakout season. MB is obviously, MVP candidate. Harris has had a sort of solid year, but nothing flashy. But Maxey is the key that if he can come out and score like 20, 30 points and sort of chip in that sort of sense, alongside these other key players, 76ers will have a good chance. At the same time, though, have you seen what Gary Trent has done at the Raptors? All right, when they
Yeah,
were winning all those games, he was like on fire. He was like Steph Curry in Canada. He was like, drilling 6 threes a game or some rubbish. His stats ridiculous. Okay, all right, and him, if he gets hot, all right, especially at home, and obviously with the depth that Toronto has to be able to move up to play the playoffs in this situation. Obviously, once Siakam came back healthy, I think this series is one that's really challenging. So I'm actually going to make a pick here that Toronto in 6. All right, and
okay.
just for old time's sake, I actually went and watched a YouTube where that shot that broke the 76ers hearts in
Yes, yes,
Game
yes.
7. 4 bounces on the ring, and Joel Embiid is crying, and it's like that was the I can't believe that fell in, and I'm going to see a similar face in Embiid in 6 games. That's my pick here.